Hey everybody, welcome back to my series where I redesigned Strawberry Shortcake characters into a high school AU that I created. Today is Huckleberry Pie's turn. Now, the way I see it, Huck has kind of been the token male character in Strawberry Shortcake, so usually he doesn't really have that much of a personality as compared to all the other female characters. But in Berry Bitty Adventures, I know definitely his personality was not as defined as anyone else's, and it bothered me so much. Also, he looked terrifying, so obviously we're gonna have to redesign him. So kind of similarly to what I said in Orange's video, I actually, for Huck, took a lot of inspiration from the new reboot, with his design and kind of his personality. But I went back and looked at what his personality was like in the 2003 and then Berry Bitty Adventures, just to see what kind of thing I could make with him. So I kind of knew right off the back I kind of wanted to make him a more laid back character. He's definitely a go with the flow kind of guy, and I don't know how much this contrasts with his old personality. I just think in some of the later ones that's kind of the only characterization he's been given. So for Huck, I decided to keep the fact that he loves music, because despite this being set in a culinary school, I don't think he would actually like to bake that much. If you're interested, here's the mood board I made for him. Also, another thing to note is that I think in this universe, I decided that he is Blueberry's cousin. I don't remember if they ever had any relation, but Huckleberries and blueberries seem so closely related to me. I don't think they actually are scientifically, but it just made sense in my mind, and it also would explain why they look a little bit similar. So to reflect this personality, I decided to give him a more relaxed pose where he's just standing almost neutrally, but he has a hand in his pocket. When I was drawing this though, I was worried I'd be a little bit rusty. I took a break in between doing Orange's and Huck's drawings, because I wanted to spend more time with my family and stuff, and I don't know, sometimes after you take a break like that, you can be pretty rusty. I don't think it's too bad though. I think after a while I eventually got into a rhythm, but I did struggle for a bit. Then for his outfit, I kind of went with something that's similar to what we've seen him wear before. And so I gave him this hoodie that's underneath a flannel. And I feel that kind of suits with his very laid back vibe, just because it's very casual, but also it kind of makes me think of a skater. I don't know if that's actually a thing, that's just what my mind thinks of. So I thought that he might as well wear it, especially because in the new series he wears a flannel, and also in the 2003 series he had the vest with a shirt under it, and I thought that kind of called back to that in a way. But yeah, I gave him ripped jeans, because if he is a skater boy, he needs the ripped jeans. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. And then of course I gave him Vans, and especially the checkered ones. I had a very specific style in mind when I did this. So his hair was a little bit hard to nail down, just because I feel the reference picture and the picture I put on my mood board aren't exactly what I was going for. Actually, I did really like what they did. Well, actually, I don't know if this is what they did in the new series, it's just what it's been consistently, where he has the kind of spiky hair with a little bit of bangs. And I don't know, I just like that hairstyle a lot. But I thought I would lean more into giving him bangs and stuff. But the shape was a little bit hard to nail down. So yeah, I guess he has asymmetrical bangs, in a kind of asymmetrical, his hairstyle is just asymmetrical overall, but his bangs slope down to the shorter part instead of the longer part. So I thought, I don't know, it was a style I just kind of came up with, and I think it actually works for him, but it did make it really hard to draw. His hair is also a little bit longer and shaggier than, I don't know, if I made a more neat male character. I just feel he wouldn't really brush it that much. He would just kind of roll out of bed, maybe run a comb through it once in a while, but then be okay, I'm ready to go. So it just kind of falls where it falls, and he doesn't really care. So yeah, I guess I could talk a little bit about how I want to place him into the world. His mom is actually a teacher at the school, and I'd named her Cranberry Pie because I thought that was funny, and cranberries are a little similar to huckleberries, so yeah. I don't actually know how the parent thing would work with the type of fruits, like would they be the same fruit, or I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to think too hard about that. But anyway, his mom is a teacher. I don't know what she teaches yet. I haven't fleshed her out that much. But he is also like either completely homeschooled or completely online schooled. But I would also imagine that this school has some general knowledge classes like math and stuff. So he is allowed to sit in on those classes just because his mom is a teacher. But he doesn't take any of the culinary classes, but he's very happy to eat anybody's creations. He will not complain. And so I imagine for some assignments when kids like need somebody to taste test their food. I've taken a cooking class before and that was part of it. You need somebody to taste your food. I bet people will go to him because he will not refuse anything no matter how weird it sounds. I also think I wanted to keep him liking music and playing the guitar. Just because I feel like it fits with his personality a bit, but I also feel like it would be kind of a joke where everybody on campus thought it was a little bit annoying, but like also some of the girls thought it was the hottest thing ever. He would be a terrible cook too. A lot of people would maybe think of him as a menace, like I said earlier, because he doesn't go to the school, really, and he just kind of hangs around a lot and distracts people from classes, and he probably also skateboards through the halls. I don't see him as being a really big rule follower, but I don't think he would like break the rules to intentionally cause trouble and harm. I think he just is very curious, very free-spirited, and he wants to see like what the world has to offer, and he doesn't think that following the rules to a T is gonna get you there. Also, he's not very studious. Sometimes people think of him as lazy. He enjoys his free time. But he could stand to work a little bit more. He hasn't found the balance yet. Also, I feel like a lot of the girls at the school would be totally infatuated with him. Oh, I also think he would know all of the gossip and all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes at the school, and he would just not spread it. Like, he would, maybe if you like mention something happening, he'd casually offhand like mention another detail to this like huge story. And people will be like, wait, you know about this happening? And he's like, well, yeah, but I'm not gonna go around talking about it. But yeah, he is a lot smarter than he seems. But onto the coloring. I kind of gave him a skin tone that's a little closer to what they gave him in the reboot, so it's a little bit darker. He's not completely pale like he is. But yeah, and since it's the new series, and I love me some colored hair, so I had to give him like the dark indigo purpley hair. And then I decided that I was gonna give him purple eyes. I was originally gonna give him green eyes to make him look a little bit more like Blueberry, but I felt like it just really didn't work with him, and the darker eyes were a lot better. So yeah, kind of similar to Blueberry, he has a very dark color scheme, but I feel like in his, he has more splashes of color, and they're more vibrant, whereas Blueberry's were more like pastel. So yeah, like his jeans were dark, and his shoes were they're supposed to be the black and white checkered, but then I decided that gray worked a little bit better, and I wound up at the end putting like a little bit of a blue tint over them so they tied back into the outfit. Same with his jeans. When I was coloring it in at first, and like saw all the colors together, I'm like, these colors don't really go together. I want to put a little bit more blue in all of them so they look more cohesive. Then for his hoodie, I struggled a bit with the color I wanted to put underneath, because Huck has always like had some kind of green on him most of the time. I don't think in the oldest series he did, but it's just part of his like being a berry. But I thought like the dark green that I originally went with really didn't work for him, so I kind of went with a more teal color that you see in his designs, especially like later on. I think it suits him a bit more. And then for his flannel, I had to do the classic Huckleberry blue color. I don't know how different it is from the blueberry blue color, but I tried to make it a very slight indigo, but it isn't supposed to be super purpley. But yeah, I had to play around with exactly what shade of blue I wanted, just because I didn't want it to like fade into the darkness and be too muddied, and yeah, that's not a fun time. It's not nice to look at. I did some flannel patterns on his jacket because, like I said, it was originally intended to be a flannel. I feel like if I could go back though, I would make it a little bit, I don't know, better. I really want to learn how to do an actual flannel pattern, because what I did is just kind of checkers. For a little bit, I played around with the idea of putting a Huckleberry design on his shirt, kind of like he had in Berry Bitty Adventures. But I ended up not being happy with it, and I just couldn't do the design very well, so I took it away. And so yeah, once again, I tried to do shading, and I feel like I'm being a little bit more confident now with shading. I don't necessarily think I'm amazing at it still. I think there's a lot that I need to learn. I definitely need to figure out how to shade hair, but I thought I am going to try to shade every single character that I do, at least in this series. We will see how it pans out, just because I like the sense of depth it gives them, and it makes them look more 3D. So like I did with Orange, I made his shading look more like cell shaded. Though I did have some problems trying to figure out what color to make the shadows. I went with this cool purple color, and then eventually I went to a magenta color, and then I think I settled on a dark magenta color at the end. I don't know if that was the best decision. I'm still figuring out how to choose good colors, and sometimes people are like, oh, choose a bright red for blues, and I don't like that look, so I'm not gonna use it. But yeah, in the end, I think he turned out pretty well. I definitely think I got the vibe that I was going for with him. He looks very laid back and very I don't know if neutral is the right word, but he just looks like somebody who is easygoing. You could probably talk to him about anything, but definitely he has a skater boy vibe, and that's what I'm here for. I have 2 more of these that I'm planning on doing for sure, and of course Strawberry Shortcake is one of them, and the next one is kind of a surprise. But I'm sure a lot of people, if you're familiar with the series, you could guess who it is. But yeah, I might do more of these depending on my mood and if people like watching these. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.